Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 1.2 Dev Insight. I'm Hi-Rez Alyssa, and we have Hi-Rez Adonis with us here. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. She forgot my name earlier
Yeah.
when we were
I
prepping for
can
this.
remember. We were practicing, and I was going to have him introduce himself, and there's just
She just
awkward
had this awkward
silence.
silence.
Yep, so.
We've been
All
working
right.
together long enough now, Alyssa. Come on, please.
All right, so we have big update showcases for the content patches, but we wanted to do a Dev Insight to kind of go deeper into the balance and the bug fixes that we're going to have for the in-between patches. So that's what we'll be focusing on today, and we do have a skin that you guys have probably already seen already during the spring fling, but we'll be getting to that last.
Super patriotic skin.
Yes, very patriotic for the
Very
4th of
happy
July.
about this one.
All right, so let's jump right into it with the balance. So first, we've got Cassie. Cassie's crossbow has an increased reload time from 1 second to 1.4 seconds. Her post-reload time is 0.6 seconds to 1 second, and also Quiver, her card, has reduced increased ammo from 2 to 1. So tell us a little bit about this.
Yeah, so first off, the crossbow change. Overall, it's gone from 1 second to 1.4 seconds, and the post reload was just kind of where we put that.
Right.
And Quiver obviously going down from 2 to 1. The big thing here was we actually like a lot of where Cassie's at when it comes to her damage and her burst potential. We like that identity for her. Unfortunately, she got way too much value out of Quiver. You were getting 10 extra ammo, which is obviously more than doubling your base weapons ammunition. So we want players to have to invest a little bit more points into that if they want to get that extra ability without having to reload. And then those chances where those moments where you are reloading,
Right.
we just want to be a little bit longer. I think mostly it's going to affect kind of the Cassie versus flanks. Obviously, flanks should be the ones a lot of times trying to take out these long-range projectile damage dealers, and we think that these changes are going to give those flanks a little bit more of a window of opportunity to fight Cassie.
All right. Awesome. Next, we have Khan. So his overpower ability. The hold is now affected by crowd control reduction and lasts a minimum of 2 seconds.
Yeah, obviously overpower, a very strong ability, but it does have some weaknesses to it. Most notably, you can only select out one person, and if you want to use the throw, sometimes it may not be that beneficial, depending on maps. Some have very open areas and hazards, but not all maps. However, him holding you in the initial phase for upwards of 5-6 seconds was a little bit too much without being able to counter it. So now crowd control reduction will be able to reduce that, but he will still be able to hold players for a minimum of 2 seconds, so you still get that ultimate feeling.
All right. Next, we've got a champion that's seen a little bit of a resurgence in the meta and also a talent that has
Yes.
been a hot topic in the community. So we've got Maeve. First, her Street Justice talent has reduced bonus damage from 30% to 25%, and there are a few adjustments to her cards as well. So Persistence has reduced damage reduction from 6% to 4%. Sixth Sense has reduced damage reduction from 6 to 5%, and reduced duration from 3 seconds to 2 seconds. And lastly, Scar Tissue has reduced damage reduction from 6% to 5%.
Yeah, so all of these, the cards that got hit, obviously this is the scaling numbers, so this is upwards of 5%. Off the top of all of them, which is fairly effective. The thing about Maven Street Justice is none of these individual balance changes may seem that impactful. We actually do really like Street Justice as a talent and as a anti-frontline counter, right? It's a good checks and balances where if players are stacking front lines, you have this flank that's able to go in, take them out, hit them for a lot of damage based on their maximum health. We actually identified that we think the main issue is the fact that she's able to do this, but also her cards are so effective at giving her damage reduction that she's also able to get out unpunished.
Stacks
and that,
on top of
and
each
that was
other.
the biggest problem for us.
Right.
It wasn't that Maeve was able to go in and kill these people, because that's the point of the talent itself. It's the fact that she was also able to get out way too easily in a lot of situations. We obviously still have hit the direct damage on it, so maybe you'll have to get in that extra dagger shot, which will leave you exposed for an extra second or an extra second or two before you can escape. And also all the damage cards adding up together. She's going to be taking more damage when she does dive into a mass group of people. So again, we kind of like that Street Justice is this anti-frontline option for a flank. We just want her to have to risk a lot more when she goes in and does that playstyle.
Yeah, a little bit more calculating. All right, so Talus, his Blitz Upper ability has a slightly increased radius from 1.25 to 2.
Yeah, for those who don't remember, this ability hit like a sedan before. It's like actually like you would punch and then someone like 10 feet to the left would get hit. We reduced that, but obviously we think we reduced it a little bit too much after analyzing kind of his play recently. There's a lot of edge cases where players felt like, I really think I should have hit that. It became a little bit too hard to hit. This isn't a big increase. I just want to let people know that, but this should clean up a lot of edge cases. This is still going to be much harder to hit than it was many patches ago, but those moments when you're like, I should have hit that, you should hit those now.
All right, perfect. And lastly, we have Zin. His Inferno Blade ability has reduced initial and secondary hit damage from 450 to 400.
Yes, final hit still going to be doing 700. The big thing with Zin was he is obviously a very good mobility flank, which obviously that's always a part of a flank's identity, is being able to get in quickly or get out quickly depending on what's happening in that scenario. And we like that his mobility is actually some of the strongest, especially with Billow. It's a full immunity state. You can extend that duration. It can be really strong. But add on to that the fact that he also has very high burst damage was a little bit too much. So we want to rein his damage in while still allowing him to have that identity of very hard to lock down.
All right, that's it for the balance in 1.2, but we have a plethora of bug fixes. Honestly, there were too many to talk about on here, so we're going to do some of the highlights, but you can read the entire list later today on the patch notes. All right, so first, Furia's Conviction now stuns at 0.1 second intervals. What exactly was it doing before?
Furia's Conviction card was unfortunately doubling the stun duration and not scaling properly.
All right.
So that's going to be fixed in 1.2. And I think should reduce some of the frustrations when it comes to the Pyre Strike in general. So very happy about this bug fix.
All right, next, we fixed an issue where Grok's Outreach would not properly increase the radius of Healing Totem when combined with Spirit's Domain.
This one was so weird because this has actually been reported. It's one guy who kept reporting it to our QA team,
So
and they would be like, okay, we're going to investigate. Let's look into it. Couldn't repro it. And this is something that is a very common talent in card that we would expect more people to report. So this is where the confusion came in for us. We actually found out that if the Outreach card was in your 5th card slot, it would not work with Spirit's Domain to extend the radius.
All right, so
very specific. Yes.
All right.
But he seemed to be the only person who was running it in the 5th slot. But
right.
That's just going to be fixed.
Yeah, thanks for helping us figure that one out. Next, we fixed an issue where Terminus Power Siphon could persist if it was active when Terminus died, and also fixed an issue where Terminus could keep shooting Calamity Blast shots if he died with his ult up in between shots.
Yes. So these are not just console fixes; these are actually all platform fixes.
All platform for these.
Obviously, this is a lot of people have been complaining about this. We finally identified the core issue that was causing this, and so we should ideally see no instances of this. Obviously, if you guys find it, make sure to report it to us. We're actively trying to make sure that this bug is gone because it was a very frustrating factor for players when they were against Terminus.
All right, we implemented various crash fixes for Xbox One and Switch, so this should help you console players out quite a bit. We also fixed an issue where players would be soft locked for a short duration if they kicked someone from their custom game or if someone dodged during match lobby. And this was Xbox One and Switch specific. Yes. All right, next we fixed a graphical corruption issue with Moji's death animation on Switch and Xbox One. Haven't seen this one, but can you do the imitation you showed me earlier?
Yeah, it's like apparently Moji's body just kind of like started stretching out really weird and warping. Haven't seen it myself. Apparently it happened. Doesn't happen anymore. So
no more nightmares. All right.
Pure nightmare fuel.
On Switch, we fixed an issue on startup where a black screen would persist for an extended duration after the Georgia Peach logo. Basically, we just didn't have a loading screen.
Oops.
So, whoops. Sorry, guys. All right, that's fixed now.
That's not me. Someone else.
We added a button callout on the scoreboard to change from items to loadout. So explain what this means a little bit.
Yeah, so this is actually all consoles. If you've played the PC version, you go open the scoreboard, and I could switch between to see what items and talents a player has and the cards. You could always access this on console. We just didn't have a button that said, hey, do this, and you can see what cards players are running. So it's there now.
Obvious how to
Not
do
really
that.
a bug fix, more of a feature, but we obviously wanted to get that in there.
All right, we fixed an issue where players could not purchase the Scarlet Charger mount, so now you guys will be able to get it.
There you
go. We also fixed an issue where players would not hear music in-game if they had the Rise of Furia music pack equipped. So we had a lot of reports about this one, basically just no music whatsoever.
Yeah, there's some confusion with there's a number of fixes when it comes to the Rise of Furia and kind of music in general in this patch.
All right, this is a big one. We fixed an issue where Ceres's heal VFX from the Void Abides talent would persist while healing an ulting Khan.
Yeah, we've actually saw a Reddit thread about this
Yeah, there
morning
was a
too.
Reddit thread.
I've seen multiple Reddit threads. So yeah, where you just have the Ceres like beams flying everywhere throughout
a
the
little
map.
bit extra. So.
Yeah, not a problem anymore.
All right, fixed now. We also fixed an issue where top play would not display 3P animations. We fixed an issue where the first champion ban was sometimes not properly working in ranked matches.
This was console only, and this was actually already live fixed, but we just wanted to put it on the patch notes.
Yep. Awesome. We also fixed pixelation in the Rise of Furia game mode cinematic. I believe this was at the end, like in the sky a little bit, so it should look much better now. On console, we fixed an aspect ratio issue where a small screen in top left corner during loading screen. So basically, the entire game would just be like in the top left corner. I got a few messages about this one, so that should be fixed now. All right, next, we fixed Founders Pack owners not getting new champion voice packs until they relaunched the client. This has been a really long-standing bug where a new champion would come out and you wouldn't have the voice pack, and so you'd have to relaunch. So now, you should just have the voice pack. You shouldn't have to relaunch. Yay! All right, and I think that is it for the bug fixes we're going to be talking about in the show, but like I said, we have a ton more that are going to be on the patch notes later today on Paladins.com. But that's not all.
That is not it.
It is time, my friends, to reveal Khan's very first skin, which we first showcased during the Spring Fling. This is Ameri-Khan.
I was gonna use that pun. Come on. Oh, were you referencing Gambino's?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry. I took that
I
one
wanted
from
that
you.
one. I wanted
All
that
right,
one.
and we've got a rotational video and his voice pack. It is something else.
Light the fireworks, kid. AmeriKhan is here to party. It's about to get patriotic as fucking here. Live free or die, motherfucker.
I love this.
Let me lay it out for you. Your head is the ball. I'm the kicker. Field goal. Check out my guns. Heck, check out the guns on my gun.
Look at the
Why
eagle.
don't people like me? I'm just trying to give them freedom. 10'4" gonna leave your butt sore. 7 years ago, I was born to kick ass and get babes.
Everything about this skin is amazing.
There you have it, friends. If you didn't notice, the eagle actually lifts a
He's
barbell.
lifting.
Yeah, he's lifted.
Every time you shoot. I also like how each plate was 400 pounds, so he's hitting 1,600 there.
Oh my God.
It's a very, very buff eagle.
That voice pack is probably one of my favorites. I know the design team worked really hard on that one. So what's interesting about this skin, I know a lot of people were asking already about like how they're going to be able to acquire it. We're trying something new for the first time. There are going to be 2 different ways to get this skin. You can either get it from the worldwide chest or you can direct purchase it. So there are going to be 2 different avenues for you guys to get this skin, whichever you prefer. Of course, with the worldwide chest, you're going to be rolling other items as well. Or you can just, if you just want this majestic skin, you can go ahead and
That's a
direct
word.
purchase it.
That's a describing word for that
Yeah,
skin.
that's something.
And that music does play when you ult people in World, and then you get the bald eagle scream. You have the not firecrackers. I can't. Sparklers.
Yeah.
And the hat. Everything about this skin is wonderful.
It is amazing. All right, so that about wraps it up. One last thing, though. The Paladins Summer Sale starts today. So for the next week, we're going to have lots of different chests coming back in rotation, lots of different skins on sale. We also have the Champion Pack Season Pass and Digital Deluxe Bundle on sale. So that's going to be for the next week. We'll have a blog post up later today on Paladins.com with all of the details and which dates, if there's something specifically that you're looking for, a chest that you really want to see if it's going to come back. So 1.2 is going to be releasing on all platforms next week. Every
The
single one.
27th, I think we're aiming for.
Yeah, we're aiming for the 27th. We still have to get through cert on a couple of the consoles first, so it might be like a day later on certain consoles, but it will be next week on all platforms. So yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. This has been the 1.2 Dev Insight, and also in 2 weeks, we're going to have a Dev Talk with Garrett and Larson. So if you guys tuned into the launch celebration stream, they kind of answered a Q&A on stream and lots of questions and chats. It's going to be something very similar 2 weeks from today. So we'll see you guys then. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.